My why, honestly, I'm not, I can't really pinpoint maybe one specific why, but I just know that, as a kid, I went to, I never got to meet any like college football players, or, like NFL football players or anything like that. But like, I maybe met a couple, and just, this, the impact it had on me, just like running into them and like seeing someone in the spot where I want to be in was super impactful. Knowing that like it's real. So I just say, it's an appreciation for the kids, and knowing that they're in the spot that I was in, you know, 16 some odd years ago. And yeah, just understanding that it's a lot. Understanding the impact that players have is huge, especially within the community. So
Welcome to the Athletes Doing Good podcast. We are so excited to welcome a Badger football player today, Maxwell Lofy. Thank you for joining us.
of course, thanks for having me.
Well, three-time academic, all Big Ten. So not only are you talented on the field, but off the field is important to you as well. It's so super impressive. I would love to just take a moment to talk about what does it take for you to excel at both academics and in your athletics?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of things. But I feel like the best thing would be time management. You kind of come into college and you don't really have an idea of what your schedule is going to be, as far as, when am I going to practice, when am I going to do homework. So just kind of, talking with some older players and talking with the learning specialists that we have to kind of get an understanding of what it really takes, to succeed both academically and on the field. Because my parents have always pressed me about my academics, like through middle school, high school, and so I wanted to stay on top of it as much as I could. So I'd say, finding time to dedicate time to playing football and being better at football, and then all right, I got to dedicate the same time to doing some homework and stuff like that. So just finding a good balance, I would say.
I'm guessing you have a good appreciation now for your parents sticking with you and making sure as you were growing up and great in middle school, high school, to be able to have that time management skills.
Yes, definitely. They've always said academics is important, and as a kid, you're like playing sports, you're like, all right, whatever, I just want to play sports. And then you get to college, and it's like, oh, they were not wrong at all. So yes,
Yeah.
I'm there.
As a parent, maybe just when you talk to them next, say, I appreciate that.
I do. I thank them every time I see them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Obviously, this is the Athletes Doing Good podcast. We have seen so much from Badgers Give Back program, and you have been very, very involved with that. What's your why? Why do you love to do that? What are some fun stories and experiences you've had being able to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. My why, honestly, I can't really pinpoint maybe one specific why, but I just know that, as a kid, I went to, I never got to meet any like college football players, or, like NFL football players or anything like that. But like, I maybe met a couple, and just, this, the impact it had on me, just like running into them and like seeing someone in the spot where I want to be in was super impactful. Knowing that like it's real. So I just say, it's an appreciation for the kids, and knowing that they're in the spot that I was in, 16 some odd years ago. And yeah, just understanding that it's a lot. Understanding the impact that players have is huge, especially within the community. So just kind of, taking a step outside of who I am and realizing what role I may play that, it may not be my choice that it's my role, but it is something that I have taken on, or all of us have taken on, honestly, being on a sports team. So just kind of realizing that and using that to the most positive, impactful way I can. And honestly, some of the best stories I've had of Badgers Give Back, probably this past summer, I kind of explained earlier, or highlighted earlier, is the Miracle League of Dane County. It was a super fun experience, getting able to play softball with some kids on some late summer nights, playing with my teammates, and just kind of sharing an experience with the kids that hopefully they won't forget, because I definitely won't forget it ever. Just the lead up to it, getting together with the guys, going there, playing, then after kind of hanging out, knowing that we did our little piece in the community, and it's the least we could do for these kids. They had a great attitude, so yeah, that's something I'll never forget about.
That's awesome. We often see with so many athletes and giving back that not only are you impacting all of those lives that you touch, whether it's the youth, the parents that are there, kids that go tell their stories to their friends, but the person themselves oftentimes is impacted. Have you felt that ring true to you?
Absolutely, yes, 1000%. It's being grateful to be in position to do that. Not a lot of people have the opportunity, or the community, or the people who build up these kind of programs to kind of let athletes use their platform. So I'm definitely grateful. It was a super cool experience. I'm signed up to do it again this summer, and I can't wait. I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Is it still surreal to you that you're in the position you are to be able to go somewhere and just your presence is bringing a smile to people?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you say it like that. It sounds kind of wild, but humbly, yeah, it's just trying to be as good a person as possible and just leading an example. Like, I got some family friends back, like my mama always reminds me like that. Like, they look up to you, like it's real, whether you like it or not. They kind of look up to you, so you can use that as a good thing, you can use it as a bad thing. And so I try and just pray about it, and just be as positive as I can, because if those kids are gonna look up to somebody, I don't want to be the one person who's the bad example. Like
Love
being a little,
that.
I want to give them a bad experience, so I just try and keep it as positive as I can.
Oftentimes, I think, you spoke about it earlier that when you were younger, there were athletes you looked up to that did these things. Are there any mentors or people that you looked up to that stand out, that have given you good advice along the years, or you just wanted to model yourself after? And what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I'd say there's some older mentors, and then there are definitely some people along my age, maybe a little bit older. Like, I was a freshman, he was maybe a little bit older. But a couple of my football coaches, Todd Miller is a great example. He was my head football coach, all 4 years at high school back in Colorado Springs. Charmish Lee was a track coach. He influenced me very heavily on dedication, getting your body right for performance. And I'd say, people my age, someone who I'd never tell him this, but someone who I look up to, he probably knows. But his name's Wyatt Wheeland. He played football at Wyoming for the past 4 to 5 years, and he was just kind of a kid who, I came in to high school with his younger brother Luke, and then he was kind of already established himself as a positive person in the community. He was in like a family band. He played football. He did kind of all these cool things, and just someone I kind of look up to. I'm like, all right, if he can do it, I can kind of do it. So, he took me under his wing, because he played football with me, and we trained in the off season, and we ran track together. So I was kind of just, always around it. I'm just grateful that I had a positive friend like that to kind of, inspire me in some kind of way.
Well, if he doesn't know it, he's going to know now.
Yeah, he definitely is. I'm actually going. I don't know if I can say this, but I probably can. I'm going to his wedding in June, so congratulations to you and the family. I'm excited.
That's amazing. I think,
Yeah.
so often there's people, like you said, coaches. There's other individuals that may not realize truly the impact that they have on you when they're doing very similar things to what you're doing. It's who you are as a person. It's what you want to do. It's how you want to help. But in years down the road, there's going to be people that are saying, like, you know what? I looked up to Max. Like, he did things the right way. He did things how I wanted to do. And he was something that somebody, I really followed his career, and I really followed how he did academically. And so I think you said it earlier that it's really important with the platform that you have to pass it along.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I love that you're doing it. I love that you're doing it there. So back in Colorado, talked a little bit about Colorado Springs. What are some of the things that you love to do when you're back there, back home?
Oh, man. I don't get to go back too often, but I'm hoping to go back after spring ball and after the semester. Usually the first thing I'll do, hang out with my family. We like to, me and my dad like to go up to the mountains. We'll find a couple of fishing spots. I love trying to catch fish. It's a very calm and serene moment when you're up in the mountains with just your family, and you get out there and try and catch some fish.
I like how you keep saying trying to catch fish.
Yeah, because every once in a while, I don't say I've ever been skunked. I'll never admit that live on the internet, but every once in a while, you need the fish. Sometimes there's no fish in the lake. That's what it is. I didn't catch any fish. So,
They all went away for the day.
exactly. So yeah, that honestly a lot of training. I only get a couple weeks off. That's not like I get these super long breaks where I can kind of just reset totally. But yeah, I'll train a lot, hang out with the family, go see some of my friends. We'd like to get up to Breckenridge, Colorado, every once in a while because I like to snowboard. So last break, I hit the slopes for a little bit, and it's a very cool city. But most of the time, I'm really just either trying to hang out with some friends or with my family, just doing whatever.
So what drew you to Wisconsin? I mean, football, but
Mm-hmm.
what was one of the things that, when you visited or when you talked to the coaches, you were like, yep, this is it?
Yeah, probably, the old staff and the new staff now, they kind of have maintained the tradition of, keeping like the locker room and the whole, it's like you walk into the facility and it kind of feels like, at least in year 5 for me, it feels like I'm walking in like to my second home. Like, I'm there with all my brothers. I'm there with people who I spend almost every day with. And so they kind of made me realize that whoever you're picking has to be as close to your family as possible. And that kind of changed my mindset. And then that helped me commit to the old staff. And I'm super grateful for them. They've impacted me in a great way. Yeah.
So you like Wisconsin though, overall, as a
Yeah, I
yeah.
do. I have some family up here too. I got grandpa in Monroe, and then I've got an aunt up in northern Wisconsin. So, and both my parents went to UW Platteville, so they were kind of, I don't know, maybe subliminally or not so subliminally encouraging me to come to Wisconsin. But even if they weren't from here, I really enjoyed my visits coming here, and yeah, definitely
That's awesome.
enjoyed it.
And we have some
What's
good
that?
fishing too.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Danica.
I just said we have some good fishing and outdoor stuff to do here too.
Yes,
Which
actually, even where I live at, there's a kind of lake kind of close to me. I bought a kayak, and my favorite thing to do is in the summer I'll go put in a kayak and go catch some fish, some smallmouth and some largemouth for sure. Great fishing, bass fishing up there for sure.
So Wisconsin, you always just catch fish. In Colorado, you're trying to catch fish.
Yeah, I'm not so much. I catch them in both. And college was the experience. You're up in the mountains. The worst day is even the best day. Like here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just liked how you chose your words there, so I had to point that out between Wisconsin and Colorado.
Yeah.
What's next? What's after graduation?
After graduation, so I'll graduate at the same time as my last season. So hopefully I'll be able to make my run in the NFL, play professionally. And then beyond that, I'm honestly not sure.
You don't
I've
have
got
to be.
I've got a little internship coming up in the summertime, so hopefully that can kind of open my eyes as far as what my interests are, what I like, what I don't like. So, but I'm still chasing that dream to play in the league. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. I love to just like, not only have you taken so much time to put into your athletics, your academics, but giving back has been so huge to you. And I know you initially went into school with looking to study like philanthropy and those types of things. You just switched. What do you hope to kind of gain with your new sociology degree? How is that going?
That's a good question. I kind of switched just because that's a great question. Um, I was always interested in how like different groups of people kind of interact with each other as far as, like community wise or like society wise. And that was a little bit of my interest in like the nonprofit and the community leadership.
Yep.
Figure out, what makes a group of people kind of click or how can you make people work together. And so sociology has kind of, opened my eyes in that sort of sense and just seeing it in a real world kind of use. So learning how just because it's kind of how we interact with each other in some sort of sense. So that's kind of what I was drawn to as far as the sociology route goes. And so far, I've learned a lot, and I've kind of been able to, you know, apply that in some of my I have an internship coming up, so that'll be fun to see some real world experience with what a degree might help me with. So
I
yeah.
love that. So we ask all of our athletes that have been on here, what does athletes doing good mean to you?
What is that like in general, like an athlete
Yeah.
doing good for me?
Yeah.
That's great. We have awesome, fantastic questions. Well, I would just say that you know some people I would say have a idea of what an athlete may be. Whether that be like a D1 athlete or a professional athlete. But I honestly just think, you know, an athlete is so much more than just an athlete. It's just you're a person who happens to be pretty decent at your sport, and so you kind of can't let that athlete identity go beyond of who you really are. Your whole identity can't be an athlete, otherwise you're just reduced to your sport. So I kind of think of like, all right, if I didn't have football today, how would I be able to, live the life I want to or impact people in the way that I want to? So that perspective kind of opens your eyes and mind up to all these opportunities like this, like the Badgers Give Back, like, volunteering, maybe talking to some kids after a game just to kind of give like perspective. You know, so many things come with being an athlete, and it would be a shame if all you got out of your athletic experience was just playing a sport on a Saturday. So just kind of using the platform to the best of your ability, really.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, great answer. Well, we'll be watching you in the fall.
Awesome.
Continued success and continue making an impact. We appreciate it.
1,000%. Yes. Thank you.